Hi everyone, welcome back. I should welcome myself back because I think it's been more than a year since I posted a video. And this is going to be just an update video based off where I'm at in my transition right now and where I've been at for the last year and what's to come. So basically, I haven't posted any videos because I really haven't had any time over the last year. It's been a crazy 2018, and I know I'm not the only one who experienced that. And 2018 seemed to carry some sort of vibe about just sort of smashing everybody in the face with stuff they didn't want to deal with. And so we were forced to deal with it and clear it and get it out of our lives and get it out of our systems so that we can sort of like move on and move into a more creative space, it seems, for 2019. 2019's got a different vibe, but hey, you know, like I'm open to anything. If it's another year getting smashed with stuff that I don't need to hold on to anymore, then bring it on. But I know that 2018 was like that for me. 2018 was filled with a lot of growth, a lot of just a lot of learning, a lot of self awareness, and it was very productive in that way, in that sense. And I'm hoping that I've learnt, like all the stuff that I've learnt from 2018, I can carry through this year and create a really good year because I've got a big year ahead. So create a really good year, good vibe. So what have I been doing for myself and in my transition? So in the last year, I've basically just been working a lot. So just working heaps. So I'm a chiropractor. I work in a really busy practice in Sydney, and that's been going really well. There's been a lot of changes at work as well. So just been shifting and adjusting to create a lot of productivity, help a lot of people. It's been great. And working at uni as well, just teaching a lot, which I love, and trying not to get too burnt out, which has kind of been the focus, was really the focus of most of the year. I did get married last year, which was amazing. Obviously, when you get married, and I don't know if anyone else experienced this, but when I got married, my partner and I went through a good 6 months of shifting things in our relationship that really didn't work for us, that we may not have been aware of before the wedding. But the wedding sort of like, at the wedding, we were like, we want this for ourselves, and this is like who we're going to be for each other. And then 6 months afterwards, we had to adjust to reflect that. And like, we weren't really aware that we weren't reflecting that. But then like, we made some really amazing shifts in our relationship. And so like, I'd say the first 6 months of the year last year was like focused on that, focused on really developing our relationship, getting to a place where we could really enjoy ourselves together, as well as like in our really busy lives. And safe to say, like, incredible shifts happened and we're in a really good place. So that's kind of what the first 6 months are about. The last 6 months are about creating some really good self-care practices for myself, to slow myself down in my really busy life and to get a grip basically on like what's happening inside my body and what's happening externally. And that served me really well, and that's something I'm going to be taking into this year for sure. So where am I at in my transition? So I started testosterone on the 9th of June, 2016. And so I'm in my, I'm 2.5 years on testosterone as of this month, January the 9th. So I would say that the last year, transitioning over the last year has been really great, like really amazing. I think the first year, or the first 18 months, you're just smashed with menopause, puberty, getting your levels right, and like all the really intense major changes that happen in the first 18 months, like the voice changing, like every fucking shot, your voice changes, right? All the hair, your relationship shift, work shifts, and like it takes a long time after those huge changes to get into a really good groove with yourself. So I was definitely accosted by that, as in like I felt like I was a victim of shit that was happening in my body. So like the chemical changes were massive, the emotional changes were massive, the mental processes were huge, and for me to like I was a controller, right? So I was like trying to control that stuff and get on top of it and make it really small and dense so that I could like use it the way I wanted to. And obviously like that doesn't work. And I learned that the hard way. And it took me a while to just let go. And I would say that last year was the year where I really managed to let go of all that stuff. So after about 18 months, I started getting into a really neat kind of groove with the changes. So the changes still came thick and fast. Like all the time I was like, oh my God, this is like massive change. I feel so out of sorts and all this is happening. And then a week later I'd be like, oh, that's why. Like I just went through like a huge shift in my biochemistry or like in my physical body or like in my emotional body. And so what I learned last year, in the second year of transitioning, what I learned was to just go with the changes. Just like see them when they come in, see them when they start to occur, not like try and figure out why or how or what it means or what's coming. Just like acknowledge it, feel it, apply some sort of therapy or self-care if I need it, like change my diet or take a supplement or like, slow down or take a week off. Like I never take a week off work. This stuff has to fit in with work, but like, take a week off, like pressuring myself or like feeling like I need to complete this project or like feeling like I need to like be the very best version of myself 24/7 all the time at work for my patients, like just take the pressure off myself. So I do those things just to get through. And then I would see the change, like after 5 days to a week, I would change and I'd be like, fucking cool. That's great. Like my head's bigger or my voice has changed again. Or I have like 20 new patches of hair all of a sudden. So I just really learned to go with the flow of this changes that are associated with this transition. And like, we know the first 3 years on testosterone are the biggest years. Like where most of the changes happen, where puberty just goes for that long and hormones go up and down, our biochemistry goes up and down, and things start to smooth out after that. So I just feel like that was a really good part of last year, like learning to just go with the process of transitioning was awesome and not getting too hung up. Like what I noticed is like I really needed not to get hung up on where my body was at and just let it grow because I grew a lot last year. Like before the wedding, I thought I was like at my best in my body. Before the wedding, I thought, well, if this is who I am as a man now forever, that's cool. Like I'm cool with that. And then if I look at myself now compared to last year, I'm like, I have grown so much physically, mentally, and emotionally. But even just physically as a man in my body, I'm like, well, this is so much different to that. And I was cool with that. And now I'm really cool with this. So it's kind of like a process and I'm just open to growing more all the time and just going with it. And so that's pretty interesting. I did have top surgery in 2017. And so the 6 months after that was sort of getting used to that, healing and repairing and looking after my scars and mostly getting my range of motion back. Last year was about training. So my chest, I really didn't train hard for the 6 months after, which I think is pretty smart, right? I also injured my back after the wedding. So I wasn't really able to train properly until about May, June. And at around May and June, I went into hardcore training for powerlifting, for a powerlifting comp in September last year. And I found like I really developed some really good skills and my body grew even more. My chest grew a lot from all the bench pressing and stuff. And then I prepped for another comp directly after September. So I was in powerlifting competition mode for 6 months almost last year, for the end of last year. And I noticed my physical body change a lot. Like it's more adaptable. It's more like coherent with the process of developing muscle. So that's really cool and really exciting. So that's kind of where I'm at with the transition right now. The main thing that I'm taking from last year is the self-care practice. So like really reading into myself and figuring out what I need. And sort of just like asking myself, like, what do I need right now? Where I'm at right now? What am I feeling? And honoring the process of transition, knowing that that's what I'm going through, like I am transitioning, and what do I need right now, whether that's to talk to people, whether that's to take pressure off, whether that's to just have a fucking bath with some Epsom salts, you know, put on some music, like, you know, like I'm really into that, put that stuff first rather than like goal-oriented activity, which I'm really a sucker for. Which leads me now to like my next steps. So this year I am getting a hysterectomy in May. So on May 27th, I will go under the knife, let's say. And I'm really excited about it, but it's a huge process. And I'm currently going through the process of getting ready for a hysterectomy. And I am going to do another video on that. I've got a lot of stuff on the beginning half of the year and kind of ending with the hysterectomy and the recovery that's associated with that. So that's what I'm looking forward to this year. The last half of the year is hopefully just making a ton of money and opening my own business, but that's something that I want and something I want to do. But again, you got to go with the flow, got to go with what life brings you. So yeah, my next vid will be about getting ready for hysterectomy and like what's happened for me until then, or like why I'm doing that. So thanks for tuning in to this video. Again, like I got to start making like 3 minutes, but I got a lot to talk about, so it's not going to happen. Thanks.